Welcome to Threshold City. This is a darker urban fantasy series about pressure, power, and the thin line between holding the world together and breaking it. In this story, we follow Evelyn Evie Echoes, a former cop with a talent she never asked for. When something tears through reality, Evie is the one who closes the door. But every time she does, the cost gets higher. When a body turns up in a downtown alley, cut open by something that shouldn't exist, Evie realizes someone isn't just killing people, they're testing something, and she might be the target. This is Chapter 1 of Shadows of the Night, the first book in the Threshold City series. Chapter 1, Cold Open. The blood wasn't meant to kill him. It was meant to call me. The body was still warm when I stepped under the tape. Uniforms shifted, uncomfortable but not willing to stop me. They never did. Officially, I didn't exist. Unofficially, I saved them paperwork. The alley stank of copper and engine oil. Rain had tried to dilute the mess, but the killer had planned for weather. The blood hadn't run. It had held. Detective Liam Grafton stood near the head of the body, hands on his hips, jaw tight, mid-30s, clean lines, eyes that noticed everything and trusted nothing. He watched me like I was a second crime scene. "You're not on the list," he said. "I never am." His gaze dipped to my boots, my coat, the lack of badge. "This is an active investigation, and you've already misread it." That earned me a long look, measuring, annoyed. "Enlighten me," he said. I stepped closer to the body, male, late 20s, throat opened clean, not a slash, a carve. Arterial spray had been redirected with chalk lines and shallow cuts across the chest, symbols etched with something thin and sharp. The wounds weren't defensive. He'd been restrained and drained, not fully. That was the first wrong thing. I crouched. The pavement beneath him pulsed faintly against my senses. A pressure behind my eyes. Not pain yet, just awareness. They'd carved a partial spiral from sternum to navel. The lines were mathematically tight. Measured spacing. Intentional symmetry. But the spiral stopped. Interrupted. I exhaled slowly. "They didn't finish," I said. Liam folded his arms. "Finish what?" I pointed, not touching. "See the gaps in the chalk? They're not smudged. They're spaced. Whoever did this stepped back before completion. Or got spooked." "No." I shook my head. "If they'd been spooked, the geometry would be messy. This is controlled." His jaw tightened. "Geometry doesn't kill people. It does if you draw it in the right place." A flicker of irritation crossed his face. Good. He was engaged. Behind me, someone gagged softly. "CSU photographer. Rookie." The air shifted, subtle, like a low hum under my skin. There it was. I didn't look up. I didn't react. But my pulse adjusted. The spiral wasn't random. It was aligned to the alley's drainage slope, to the old brick foundation beneath, to something older running under the city. A line, a thin place. Someone had tried to open it. "Cause of death's obvious," Liam said. "Throat. Massive blood loss." "Wrong," I said. His stare sharpened. "You want to explain that?" I reached out and hovered my hand 6 inches above the victim's sternum. Heat, not body heat. Residual. Magic leaves a taste. Metallic. Bitter. Like biting your own tongue. "He was alive when the spiral started," I said quietly. "The throat was secondary. They needed flow, not death." Silence stretched. Rain tapped against a fire escape above us. Liam stepped closer, not intimidated, not dismissing me either. "Needed flow for what?" he asked. I finally looked at him. "For me." The pressure behind my eyes spiked. Sharp this time. A thin, invisible thread tightened somewhere beneath the pavement, tugging, testing. I stood abruptly. "Clear the alley," I said. He didn't move. On what grounds? On the grounds that whoever did this isn't done. The hum deepened. Not loud, not dramatic, just there, like a held breath. Liam's eyes searched my face, looking for hysteria. He didn't find it. He gestured sharply. Everyone out, now. Grumbling, confusion, but they moved. Smart cop. When the last uniform cleared the tape, the alley felt narrower, heavier. The chalk lines darkened, not visibly to normal sight. But to mine, they brightened. The spiral completed itself. Slowly. Blood that had already dried began to bead again along the carved channels. Liam swore under his breath. That's not possible. Welcome to the problem, I said. The spiral locked into place, and the alley floor answered. A ripple under concrete, a vibration up my legs, something pushed from below. Not a creature, a breach. Small, precise, a test. The hum snapped into a scream inside my skull. I dropped to one knee as the world tilted. The spiral flared. The air tore open 6 inches above the body's chest. Black, not darkness, absence. And something on the other side leaned closer. Liam grabbed my arm. Evie, don't touch the lines, I hissed. He froze. Good. The opening widened another inch. Pressure increased. They weren't trying to unleash something. They were measuring resistance. My resistance. I pushed to my feet. Back up, I said. You're barely standing. Story of my life. The pull intensified, like the city had a heartbeat and someone had found it. Fine. They wanted a response. I gave them one. I stepped into the center of the spiral. Pain lanced behind my eyes. The breach pulsed. I drew in a breath that tasted like copper and asphalt, and released. The binding pulse hit the alley like a concussion. Sound imploded. Windows above us shattered inward. The spiral detonated into fragments of light and dried blood. The tear snapped shut. Hard, like a slammed door. Silence crashed down. For a second, I couldn't feel my left hand. Pins, needles, nothing. Then the pain hit, white-hot and precise. I staggered. Liam caught me before I hit pavement. You good? He asked, voice tight but steady. No, I said honestly, but it's closed. He stared at the place where the air had torn. No mark left, just a corpse and broken glass. After a long beat, he said, I'm going to need a better report than gas leak. I managed a thin smile. Try cult extremism. It's trending. His grip on my arm tightened slightly. You want to tell me what that was? I met his eyes, dark, focused, not running. They weren't trying to open something, I said quietly. They were trying to see if I'd close it. And? I looked down at my hand, still trembling. They got their answer. That's the end of this chapter of Shadows of the Night. If you're enjoying the story, make sure to follow the channel so you don't miss the next chapter. New chapters release regularly as the investigation in Threshold City unfolds. And if you have theories about what's really happening beneath the city, I'd love to hear them in the comments. Until next time, stay sharp. Threshold City never sleeps.